When we are gathered for a time of worship and of song, let none forget the joys and griefs that mark each path of life, and thus we reach for those who love. We reach for those who love. For youth shall pass, and time is wise, and countless seasons turn. So day by day our years increase, until at last by life released our spirits shine like stars. Our spirits shine like stars. Creek bump, the pilot in the backseat generates steam heat. Thick beat, Fritz Creek bump. Let's go, shoot 'em in the back now. What do they want? I don't know. They're all revved up and ready to go. They're falling in a straight line, running through a tight line. Kids are losing their minds. Blitzkrieg bump, the pilot in the back seat generates steam heat. Say to the backbeat, Blitzkrieg bump. Let's go, shoot 'em in the back now. What do they want? I don't know. They're all revved up and ready to go. Falling in a straight line, going through a tight line. Kids are losing their minds. Blitzkrieg bump, pilot in the back seat generates steam heat. Say to the backbeat, Blitzkrieg bump. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Welcome to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Eileen Terrell. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am joined by our service leader, Reverend Chris Rothbauer, whose pronouns are they, them, theirs. As we prepare for our service this morning, please be sure to check your order of service for important announcements about congregational life. And now, let us join our voices in our responsive welcome. You'll find the words in the order of service and also projected on the screen behind me. To all who are yearning for community, come in, be among us. To all who are just getting started, to all who long to go deeper, to all with tender places needing care, come in, be among us. To the ones who have healed and have care to give, for those who are curious and hungry to learn, for those who know that they have something to teach, come in, be among us. For the ones who are just beginning to suspect they might nurture others becoming, to the young and the old, the innocent and the jaded, the fresh of mind and the deeply steeped, there is room here for each and every one. Come in, be among us. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, no matter who you are, the people you love, how you look, what you can or cannot do, you are welcome here just as you are in this community of care and concern. Come and be among us. We will continue our conversation at coffee hour immediately following the service in Fellowship Hall. Welcome, and let us worship together.
Our call to worship this morning is from Joan Javier Duval. As the world shifts beneath us, we seek steadiness, the unwavering support of community, the principled guidance of wise teachings, the faithful teaching of the seasons. We seek within ourselves and in one another a devotion to all that is true, all that is just, all that is beautiful. We gather here to reground ourselves and to reorient towards our heart's call. Here we hold on to what is good, what we believe, and what we must do. With resolute and compassionate hearts, let us worship together. And I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our hymn, number 188 in the gray hymnal, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. The chalice with these words from Sanjia Hawk. With the lighting of this flame, let us grow the radiance of joy. With the lighting of this flame, let us spark the brilliance of hope. With the lighting of this flame, let us shine upon the hearts of all those who suffer, who yearn, and who crave the joyful noise of community, all beings, not one left behind. And please join me in our affirmation, which is printed on the back of your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together.
Well, good morning, everyone. I would like to invite the young and the young at heart to join me up here on the first row. Thank you so much. And you've got your dolly. That's wonderful. Come on up. Come on up. Thank you so much. Well, to get started, I have some questions for you and for everyone in every seat. So please raise your hand if this describes you. Are you part of a class at school? Do you play a sport with teammates? I know you do, so there's, okay. Are you part of a club, like a club at school or for the adults? Maybe a book club, a hiking club, a theater group, all the hands going up, an art group, anything. Do you feel like there is a place where you really belong. Lots of hands, I like that. Our book today talks about finding your people, which isn't always easy. So let's read it. Our book's title is Neither. Some of you may pronounce it neither. You can do that silently. And it is written and illustrated by Arlie Anderson. So once upon a time, there were two kinds, this and that. Take note of the fact that this is a blue bunny and that is a yellow bird. These and those, just two kinds. One or the other. Until, and let's look. Do we see? There's an until happening. There we go. Honk. So someone has come out of their shell. Well, what kind are you? I'm both. Well, you can't be both. You must be neither. I'm neither? Well, neither tried to play this game, the Blue Bunnies. You can't play with us, you're not rabbity enough. Then neither tried to play that game. Well, you can't play with us, you're not birdie enough. Why don't you go find somewhere else? You're not one of us, you're neither. Neither, they cried. Neither. And neither takes to the skies on a voyage to find something else. And then they land. Where did you come from? Honk. I'm from the land of this and that, but I'm neither. So I'm looking for somewhere else to fit in. Well, this isn't somewhere else, but you will fit in here. Well, where is here? You see the sign that says the land of all. Looking around, so many different kinds, different colors and shapes. They all say, come play with us. But I'm different from everyone here. I'm neither red nor orange, nor yellow, nor blue. Exactly. And then we have some visitors. Excuse us, we're from the land of this and that, but we don't fit in at home. We are looking for somewhere else. But you said I was neither. You said I should go somewhere else. Well, this isn't somewhere else. This is the land of all. And everyone fits in here. So once upon a time, there were many kinds. This and that. Somewhat and what not. Either, very, sort of, just, rather, a little, neither, and both. And all were welcome. Well, thank you so much for listening to our story today. We're going to go ahead and sing our children out to their classrooms.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart no love, and your hands through the work of justice, as you go your way in peace, as you go your way in peace.
We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with the faith that together we have enough. Thank you to our members and friends who give and pledge electronically. You can donate online via Realm Connect or on our website at horizonuu.org/donate. The offering will now be joyfully given and received. Thank you for your generosity.
They tell us there are only two sides to be on. If you are on our side, you're right. If not, you're wrong. But are we innocent, the paragons of good? Is our guilt erased by the pain that we've endured? It's time to pledge allegiance. I love my daddy, Uncle Sam. To the beat now. Lend me one slightest step in time. Turning, where is the protest song? Since when is skepticism un-American? Dissent's not treason, but they talk like it's the same. Those who disagree are afraid to show their face. Their face. They're all machines now. It sure is good to see them run again. No gentlemen, start your engines, and we know where we get the oil from. Are you feeling alright? Paint myself red, white, and blue. Are you singing Let's Fight Now? People die all the time. Red, white, blue, hot pants doing it for Uncle Sam. Now flex our muscles, show them stronger than the rest. Raise up your hands, baby. Are you sure that we're the best? We'll come out with a fist raise. The ghetto boys are back on top again. And if we let them lead us blindly, let's become future once again.
Today's reading is an excerpt from Introduction in Punk Spirit, an oral history of punk rock, spirituality, and liberation by John Malkin. Malkin says, I discovered punk rock and Buddhism around the same time, when I was 17 years young in 1979. Both appealed to my rebellious side that intuitively sensed what I'd learned about the world from adults was, at best, incomplete. Punk rock pushed me towards anarchism, high-energy music, and questioning authority. Buddhist meditation practices ground my journey and reveal truths about interconnection, impermanence, and liberation. Punk and spirituality both create energy that connects people through self-expression, emotional release, and creative responses like music, writing, film, art, and direct social action. Punk rock has sometimes been an attempt to take music beyond the confines of music, thereby manifesting the music of no music. This sentiment easily coalesces with Alan Watts' 1951 philosophy book, The Wisdom of Insecurity, where he describes Buddhism as the religion of no religion. Punk and spirituality harmonize towards liberation and living free. And this surprising combination has kept me company during my adult life. Naturally, people have asked, punk is loud and angry, while spirituality is calm and compassionate. How do these two go together? What makes music a spiritual, transcendent experience?
Interest in sports or school elections, and in class I dreamed all day, rock and roll weekend. Oh, and the girl in the front of the room, so close yet so far, you know, she never seemed to notice that this silly schoolboy crush wasn't just pretend. Downtown to look for a job. You know, I had no training, no experience to speak of, and I looked at the holes in my jeans. I turned and headed back. Life goes by so fast. Only one come and good times go. I only wish the good times would last a little longer. I think about the good times we had, why they had to end. So I sit at the edge of my bed, I strum my guitar and I sing out the love song, and I think about what you're doing now when you're coming back. Life goes by so fast, you only wanna do what you think is right. Close your eyes, then it's fast. Story of my
Now, I realize that the music that we've picked today will appeal to some and to others it won't, and if it doesn't appeal to you, you might have had a lot to talk about with my mother. See, I imagine that punk rock was exactly the kind of music my mother had in mind when she discouraged me from listening to anything from the modern era. She grew up in another generation, even before the New York Dolls and the Ramones and the Stooges were making history in the music scene in New York. In fact, I think the hardest thing my parents listened to was Creedence Clearwater Revival. And don't get me wrong, CCR was a legendary band, and we might even play them one of these days if it's appropriate, but it was poor preparation for the music of my generation. It's funny, isn't it? It's the same with every generation. Some in this room may remember when older folks thought that Elvis Presley or Buddy Holly or the Beatles or Jimi Hendrix were going to corrupt the youth. But here's the thing, what's shocking and boundary pushing to one generation might just speak to the milieu of the next. Punk rock was born of the ashes of the 1960s, the generation that were once about creating peace and changing the world, but they were growing up to be cynical. The hippies were moving to the suburbs, many of them giving up their ideals, now supporting causes that would have scandalized their younger selves. The optimism dead in the face of the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and John F. Kennedy, and the ashes of the Vietnam War and the Nixon administration. But in the early 1970s, something was happening in New York City. Clubs like the CBGB and Max's Kansas City were hosting a new generation of underground bands influenced by art and glam rock bands. Bands like the Velvet Underground and T-Rex and the Stooges were influencing a new sound that diverged from the optimistic sound of 60s music that thought it could change the world. A new, cynical generation was coming up who didn't believe things were changing for the better. And whereas the hippies were generally middle-class kids who wanted to make the world a better place, these kids in New York were mostly working-class people who'd been left behind by the American dream. Now, no one is sure who the first punk band was, and if you engage a historian on this, you will start an argument. But one thing is for sure, that when the Ramones hit the scene in 1974, something special was in the air. Their music matched the cynicism of the age, angry, pessimistic, hedonistic, bare bones, and often throwing musical theory out the window. It would take 2 decades before the sound of punk rock truly went mainstream, but the underground movement it represented soon spread around the country and across the Atlantic. Major cities developed grassroots punk scenes. In Britain, the Damned and the Sex Pistols helped launch a uniquely British take on punk. And by the end of the decade, bands like Black Flag and the Dead Kennedys and Social Distortion created a West Coast scene, a take on the genre known as hardcore that prioritized a DIY aesthetic, where bands depended on independent labels, self-booked shows, and had little backstage support to get their music out. And underneath the music was the message that society was broken and needed a revolution if things were ever going to be just. Whatever the scene, what punk had in common is that it brought people together who felt like outcasts into community. For many, it was the first time they'd felt like they belonged, and it didn't matter that mainstream music or their parents or the vast majority of society didn't understand. In some ways, their shows and parties were like religious services, people coming together to burn off steam, developing a distinct culture and aesthetic. And in fact, moshing, a type of dancing that it could be argued as a sort of ritual for kids to burn off steam. We won't be moshing today, don't worry. Unless we want, we'd have to move Taya, but. John Malkin, the author of our first reading this morning, was one of those kids. As he says, punk rock appealed to his rebellious side, as well as his search for alternatives to the accepted wisdom. Punk and spirituality harmonized towards liberation and living free, and this surprising combination has kept me company during my adult life. He says, and I would agree, that freedom and liberation came from a community of misfits who found belonging from a combination of political and social realism and music unlike any that had been heard before in polite society. Some would say punk died when it went mainstream, first with its influence on the grunge scene in Seattle in the late 80s, and then with pop-punk acts such as Green Day and The Offspring in the early 90s, who largely abandoned the DIY aesthetic and sought fame and fortune through the big venues and record labels. But the truth is, even in the more mainstream iterations of punk, there were kids who attracted, who felt alienated from what most of their peers considered normal. And even then, there were still underground bands continuing to influence the next generation of big names. Genres like emo, indie pop, and alt country largely would have never existed or sounded very different had it not been for their punk foreparents. This community that generations have been building since the 1970s has been a saving force for so many. The reason punk refuses to die, even when it's mainstreamed, even when it's commodified, is because there's a spirit that speaks to the state of the world. A state that, though it's made some small steps of progress since the Ramones played their first show, continues to marginalize and leave many behind. Maybe that's why any rebellious music, from the earliest jazz and rock pioneers to the metal, hip-hop, and underground acts of today, appeals to so many. It offers new possibilities for what the future may bring. And when I'm thinking of the possibilities for spiritual topics, what's more spiritual than being able to imagine a future better than the present? People may find different ways to inspire vision, but it all comes down to a protest of the world we've inherited. For me, that protest first came from punk rock. We now take time to honor the sorrows and joys of this community, knowing that we're all interconnected and that what affects one affects us all. A joy from Michelle Oates' family. We received amazing news. My grandma does not have stage 4 cancer like we were initially told. Remission is possible. Please keep my family in your thoughts. A joy from Catherine. Thank you for inspiring us to tap into creative outlets and to make bad art. I have made a lot of bad art and enjoyable bad art the last week and shared it with my community. A joy to see Ed Keller back greeting. And as is our annual tradition, my multiple joys that tomorrow is Taya's 99th birthday. Sue Riddenauer asked for prayers for my father-in-law who entered hospice and my brother who is diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And an anonymous sorrow, but it does name a name. Charlotte passed May 13th. She suffered from a severe mental health disorder and then Alzheimer's. We found joyful moments along the way. Peace be with you, Mom. We love you. And we light a candle this morning to honor all the sorrows and joys which have gone unspoken and reside only in our hearts. Please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation in whatever way feels right with these words from Lisa Garcia Simpson. Spirit of life and love, spirit that lives within us and between us and among us right now, within this beloved community and in our work for collective liberation, may we continue to weave the web of trust and care. But more than that, may our bodies be the site of healing, joy, and freedom. May we refuse to let our spirits be depleted and hardened by the forces of hate. Instead, may we open ourselves to be nourished and transformed by the movement for justice, knowing that our collective story is not what we're fighting against, but what we're fighting for. For ours is the work of creation. Ours is the work of inviting people into an irresistible movement rooted in our belief that a new world is possible. And the center of our work is love and joy and the spirit of abundance. These are the things we're fighting for, and these are the things we are fighting for. May we know deep in our bones that this is the call of faith. Blessed be.
Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere, its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love.
She's the queen of the neighborhood. She's got the hottest strike in town. That girl, she holds her head up so high. I think I wanna be her best friend, yeah. Rebel girl, rebel girl, rebel girl, you are the queen of my world. Rebel girl, I think I wanna take you home. I wanna try on your clothes, yeah. She walks, a revolution's coming in her hips. There's revolution. When she talks, I hear the revolution in her kiss. I taste the revolution. Rebel girl, rebel girl, rebel girl, you are the queen of my world. Rebel girl, I know I wanna take you home. I wanna try on your clothes, yeah. She thinks she's queen of the neighborhood. I got news for you, she is. They say she's a slut, but I know she's my best friend, yeah. Rebel girl, rebel girl, rebel girl, you are the queen of my world. Rebel girl, I know I wanna take you home. I wanna try on your clothes. Love you like a sister, always soul sister, rebel girl. Come and be my best friend, will you, rebel girl? I really like you, really wanna be your best friend. Be my rebel girl.
And our second reading from Lenny, Kaye of the Patti Smith Group. Punk rock is music of the human spirit. All music, including punk rock, is spiritual. Music doesn't speak to our rational, conscious mind. It speaks to our unconscious mind, to connect with that which is beyond all genre and style of music. All music reaches inside your soul. Punk rock is, in its own way, a variant of the greater music. Just like there's different people in the world, but we're all reflecting the eye of God. If you can reach that with any music, then you're in the realm of being blessed.
Pictures, faces, girls I've loved, I try to remember when. Faded memories on the wall, some names I have forgotten. Each one is a memory I look back on so often. I looked into the past, and I want to make it last. I was there, I was there. I looked into the past, and I want to make it last. I was there, I was there. back upon my life and the places that I've been. Pictures, faces, girls I've loved, I try to remember when. I don't let it get me down or cause me too much sorrow. There's no doubt about who I am, I always have tomorrow. I looked into the past and I want to make it last. I was there, I was there. I looked into the past and I want to make it last. I was there, I was there.
My introduction to punk was through the local scene in Louisville, Kentucky. I'd been introduced to pop-punk bands like Green Day and The Offspring and Rancid earlier and quite enjoyed them, I still do. But there was something different about the local hardcore scene. It was raw, gritty, and emotional. The Louisville scene was famous for being different. In the early punk movement, the big bands often bypassed Louisville, seeing it as too small to play a gig. The result was that although local record stores were stocked with now legendary names, there wasn't a big live scene. So, in the late 70s and early 80s, local kids started forming their own bands, and because they were largely disconnected from the big scenes, they created a sound that got attention, to the point that bands like Black Flag and the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Green Day started coming through Louisville. Along with a healthy alliance with the Chicago scene, many of these bands went on to influence hardcore indie rock and what has come to be called Midwest emo. I have a shirt that has a cow on it that says Midwest emo if you're curious. By the time I was going to shows, there was a bustling scene supported by a network of small and underground venues and a local record store where many of the bands worked over the years. I didn't know any of this at the time, though. What I knew is that there was a community of people who felt just as much misfits as me. Queer folks and straight-edge vegans, potheads who would have been just as at home in the hippie movement, and those who were seeking to drop out of mainstream society. I was a little lost when I found the scene. My religion, my academic aspirations, my prospects for the future all seemed a bit bleak. Most of my friends had moved away for college, and there didn't seem to be a lot left for me. I didn't know where my life was going, and it was difficult to imagine I'd live past my 20s. The hardcore scene was a lifeline during this time. It gave me a reason to live, not particularly because of the music, although that was good. What mattered was the way the scene came together to support one another. It taught me that I still had dignity, maybe more than I ever realized before, and I had the right to live my life in a way that felt authentic and fulfilling. I still remember when the drummer of a local hardcore band I'd become acquainted with invited me to her vegan Friendsgiving. I wasn't vegan at the time, but we had met on LiveJournal, the closest thing we had to social media back then. We bonded over the misfits while she and her friends introduced me to the virtues of legendary hardcore band Minor Threat over some nice tofurkey. For that day, I felt a little less alone, accepted in a community that was only beginning to get to know me. It didn't end there either. Saturdays bonding over music and war stories, I realized I wasn't the only person who felt lost. left behind by the prosperity and promises of the 90s, the belief that if I just did the right things, everything would work itself out. Long before I stepped foot in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, it was the punk scene, along with the local queer scene, where I learned my first lessons in building inclusive community, where everyone could feel a sense of belonging. We truly were a motley crew, misfits to the end, and no idea where our lives were going. Some of the folks I knew back then moved on to other jobs, joined the military, or like me, went to college. Others remained in the music industry and are still making their mark on Louisville and the world today. I was very happy to see one of their names on the credits to a pretty famous indie rocker recently. But for a moment, we all belong to something. We found meaning in coming together. Those of us who've been left behind. There's a reason in an age where virtually any band and any song, from the biggest superstars to underground acts, can be accessed instantly on Spotify or Apple Music. And anyone who goes viral can find fame on YouTube and TikTok. There's a reason that local punk scenes persist. Like I once felt lost, there will always be new generations who have been pushed to the margins and find meaning in being together. I think that's why I feel called to build communities where people can find belonging in a world that's often cruel and alienating. Scientists now know that there's a fundamental biological need in humans to belong. When we don't, there's often a loss of identity, anxiety, and depression, a feeling of low self-worth, and even physical issues such as a lowered immune system. In an age where so-called third spaces, places where people can come together apart from work and home, are disappearing, we need places of radical hospitality that welcome us just as we are and invite us to meet other people. Some of them like us, others maybe not so much. Communities like Horizon can be saving to so many. It's why I've 100% been behind Kel and Tanner's plan to bring more concerts to this venue. Because as I once found belonging, there are kids out there who don't even know we exist, who need what we have. People at all stages of life and identities can be vulnerable. When society rejects who we are, or we find ourselves in a new city where we don't know anyone, or we have a new kid, or the kids go away to college, or we're figuring things out at retirement, we need communities where we can find belonging. The COVID pandemic proved just how vulnerable all of us are to alienation. We need places that will give us hope that we can get through to another day, give us a chance to find our ways. In the words of a song that's not a punk song, but definitely has the spirit of one, the Cheers theme says we need places where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. And in the words of the Bouncing Souls song that will close us out today, I learned so much from everyone, even if they aren't in my life anymore or became my best friend. I truly came of age because of the community created around making music my parents hated. I want Horizon to be a place where we practice radical inclusivity, to welcome all those who need a place to feel like they belong. As long as we practice this principle, I believe we will succeed in whatever else we do. As long as society creates misfits and outcasts of all stripes, because it forgets everyone needs a place, there will be a need for communities that fill the gap of our systemic epidemic of alienation. And as long as this is the case, there will be a punk scene. And there will be a need for places like Horizon. May it be so.
We extinguish this chalice, but not our commitment to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because we envision a beloved community helping all to thrive in a just world.
I've met some people along the way. Some of them split, some of them stay. Some of them want some walk on by. Got a few friends I'll love till I die. From all these people try to learn. Some of them shine, some of them burn. Some of them rise, some of them fall. But good or bad, I've known them all. The kind of faith that doesn't fade away. We are the true believers. We are the true believers. Well, you can fight or you can run. Hide under the rock till the war is won. Play it safe and don't make a sound. But not us, we won't back down. True believers all the way. You and I. The kind of faith that doesn't fade away. We are the true believers. We are the true believers.
Rise in body or in spirit for our benediction and our reprise. Our benediction is by Birch Q. Take this as an invitation to imagine how wide this world can be, to face the closing doors before us and move towards the opening windows in our lives. Take this as an invitation to remember a critical truth, that some of us have it all figured out, that none of us have it all figured out, that we help one another grow and change. Take this as an invitation to cross thresholds of challenge, not on our own, not for ourselves alone, but side by side, spirits rising and expanding together. Let us go now to share our gifts and truths with each other in the world. We take the fire within us and share it with others as we go. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.